Gather, veterans. It's time to join the fight. The long war begins.
This is The Long War. I'm Robbie B, and joining me once again are my partners in crime, Kenny Boucher, Stephen Ford, and Mike Haspil. What's up, guys?
Yo, dog, great to be here.
Hey, what's happening, everybody?
Hey, everybody.
So today is the first stream where we're in two places at once. It's like we're time travelers in the future and in the past all at once.
I almost forgot that we were doing that because a lot of poop stories just got told real fast.
The proverbial shit got real.
You know, it actually makes sense. We're in two places at once. I just heard twice as many shit stories as I normally do in the same amount of time.
Well, I mean, you know, the very first podcast, that's what we talked about. So I feel like the very first time that we're simulcasting on Twitch and YouTube, we might as well just go all in. Yeah. Go all in.
Yep. I mean,
technically we're in three places because this will be a podcast.
Yes, this will be a fully functioning, edited podcast available for download on iTunes or whatever. I'm sure if you're listening to this right now, you know where you downloaded it.
Well, all that aside, I think we got a great show for everybody tonight. Lots to talk about. Of course, we got the Tau and the new Forgebane, the Baby Knights, along with.
I'm loving those baby nights, but I want you guys to know something. Those baby nights are going to last 1.1 seconds on the table when new Tau comes around.
Savage. Don't tell me, bro. Don't tell me.
Don't tell me with a good time.
Yeah. Speaking of which, obviously Tower coming out next week. We'll cover that here in a minute in Tabletop Market Watch. I've got my personal predictions on Forgebane, breaking down the box set. GW gave us some clues, applied a little math and some numbers. And then I think every now and then carry the one.
Real talk. What's the hardest type of math for you to do?
I don't like fractions personally.
You know, that's like my easiest math. It's reverse adding is my hardest math.
Reverse adding?
I guess some people call it
subtracting.
I think some people call it subtracting, but I just cannot wrap my fucking head around it.
Subtracting. Check.
Yeah.
I think I don't want to embarrass anybody, but perhaps we should go through and list our mathematical qualifications for everyone.
Well, mine stop at integrals and differentals.
Aren't you a literal rocket scientist?
How did you get away with that?
An astronautical engineer, and Calc 2 did. That's when I decided, maybe I shouldn't be doing that. Well, because like in Anger Mech, you don't really need differentials.
Rob, what's your math? Aren't you like an engineer?
Yeah, like an engineer. Air quotes.
Actually, an engineer.
That's what my paperwork says. I don't know if I believe it. It also says something about like CAD. I don't know what that stuff is either. Clearly a lot of science.
Well, they have 4 legs, a tail.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know what else you want me to tell you, bro.
I know Juice has amazing math skills. He self-taught in the hustle business, right?
That's right. I can break things down very quick and on the fly.
Whenever we need to figure out something like Juice, what is that? He always knows. Like, and we're talking, we got engineer, rocket scientists in here. Juice is the guy when you're like, oh my God, I can't figure. He's like, it's 3, dog. It's 3.
Yeah. Haspil saw some of those skills when we had to. Haspil, remember when we played against Adepticon last year in the team, and I can't remember who the team that we were playing, but they had like 1 million guardsmen.
Yes.
And we were playing, and he's like, "Oh my God, I've never been able to first rank, second rank fire this many shots." Blah blah blah. And I was like, he's like, get stunned. He's like, "Well, I got 75 guys." I was like, "Yeah, that's 120 shots. So let's go. You just rolled 80. Here's 20 more. I'll roll 20 for you." It was. I bet you those guys shot 1,000 last gun shots at us that game.
Yeah, they did. And it didn't matter.
It didn't matter.
Yeah, that was one of those games of how many shots do you have? It doesn't matter.
It doesn't matter because it's not a leadership check, and Mike Haspil is going to make them all.
He's never all 6s all game, and you don't roll leadership checks when you don't fail 3 ups.
That's right.
I think my math skills, if we're on the subject still, I made it to college, and they placed me in pre-algebra because they were like,
that's a pass fail.
Because they were like, you're dumb. You need to pass. We need to pay us to pass this class before we let you continue.
Nice.
And the only way I was able to pass that class is because David passed on my test for me.
Oh, that's right. You guys looked the same back then.
I mean, even now, except now the tattoos and the facial hair, but like back in those days, we were much closer in build and height. I always wore my uniform, right? Because I would go to I had a graphic design job I had, and they wore the same polo and hat every day. So I was like, David, I literally can't pass this fucking class. Algebra is impossible. It's not even. Impossible. It's not even real. Like he's like pre-algebra. It's pre-algebra. It's like algebra is impossible. Yeah, like I was like, dog.
It's still got algebra in it, motherfucker.
I was like, can you pass this class for me? He's like, how are we gonna get away with this? Like, dude, just wear my hat, wear my fucking polo shirt. I don't talk to anybody. I've been planning this for fucking 6 weeks. Like, no.
I want you to know you have already said yes to this, and I've been working out the particulars.
Yeah. So he just literally walked in there every time it was a test day. He just walked in there, took the test, and walked out. Then no one said shit.
So stupid. You are the clown shoes.
David's like, do you think that if you put this much thought and effort into learning how to do algebra, you could do algebra?
That's crazy talk.
I was like, dog, that's insane. That's not even the same thing. I was like, what are you talking about? Effort?
I actually have a confession to make. I flunked out of college my first semester. And I was like, you know what? I don't need college. I'm going to do my own thing. And then I was like, this workforce stuff sucks. I'm gonna go back to school. And the college wouldn't take me, or the university wouldn't take me. They're like, nah, you flunked out your first semester. Get out of here. I'm like, oh.
You didn't have a brother that could just take out your test for you?
No, it turns out that was on me.
That's how I did it.
Started at the bottom. I was still at the bottom.
The bottom. You said the bottom a lot of times in that sentence.
I think that's how the song goes. I'm pretty sure.
All right. Poop, bottom, stories.
Let's talk about real actual stuff.
Yes. Okay.
Yeah. Rumors.
Yes.
Yeah, rumors. Yeah. All right.
Best comment of the last 3 weeks. Let's talk about real stuff. Yeah, rumors.
Yeah, rumors. No, let's get the real stuff out of the way because everybody pretty much knows this by this point. Coming out on pre-order this week will be Codex Tau Empire for $40, along with the data cards for $15. No dice, no other new releases. Although in the White Dwarf they had an interesting picture of the Tau Commander along with an Ethereal, whichever one is correct, in a combo box. I don't know what that's about. I haven't seen that before. That may be going on shelves or available for reorder, for reboxing. I don't know. But that looked kind of cool. That might be some cost savings there. Don't know yet. And the web store exclusive Tau Collector's Edition for $80 from Games Workshop. That's this week's releases. Coming up soon, we will know probably Sunday what's coming out next week from Games Workshop. But remember, whatever goes on pre-order for next week will come out Adepticon weekend when their whole coverage team is at Adepticon. So it probably won't be anything so crazy. Last year at this time, they just put out the Talons of the Emperor box. So it is possible that they'll put out Forgebane, although I think it's more probable that it'll come out the week after, and we'll just see some filler stuff for Adepticon weekend. That's my gluten-free gut call right there. As far as the Forgebane, let's talk about some real stuff. Rumors.
That's right.
Forgebane box was previewed over the weekend. Really interesting look at it. Of course, they UK got a lot of snow. A lot of things were snowed in, so they actually canceled the big Age of Sigmar Weekender thingamabobber open day, whatever it was called. But they still had the Grand Clash going for Shadespire, which Skaven won, that I'm sure Haspil will talk about later. But at that event, they had Forgebane in the case, which promptly, made the rounds really quick. And then when Games Workshop got back into office, they put out that big post on Monday showing us all the cool things. But some nuggets we could grab from Games Workshop's post was what exactly comes in the box, and the fact that according to them, the cost of the box would be less than the contents minus the new things. The contents of the box at full retail are $188, which leads me to believe the box set will again be priced at about $160, which is what all the other kind of combo boxes, including Blight War, Death Storm. Y'all might remember back to summer 2014 with Stormclaw. There is a lot of precedence for this. And generally, they give you about a 50% discount, which if you do the math and check out the article on Spikey Bits, we break it all down. But long story short, it looks like the new little baby knights are going to be about $50 to $60 if the math adds up correctly, judging by the clues that Games Workshop gave us, which is kind of cool because 50 or 60 bucks for those little guys seems very inviting, in my opinion. I don't know. What do you guys think? Baby Knights?
No, I was gonna pass on this on the Forgebane box because I was like, well, really, it's just a new Cryptek. That's all I really wanted. And then when I saw the Baby Knights, and then I was like, well, I do have some Mechanicum stuff, and I don't have that unit that comes with there. So I was like, I think they got me because I think it's just too good a deal. It's like if I didn't buy this and then I buy Baby Knights down the road, I'm gonna kick myself. So.
Yep. And the rumor was that we would see the Knights before the Night book came out. And it looks like the Cryptek, we're going to see him with specific rules according to the teasers in the post before the Necron book comes out. So this is kind of an interesting precedent that they're doing.
Yeah. And there was another rumor tied into the Forgebane kind of release, and it's on the regimental standard.
Okay.
And it's just like one sentence. But it says, what is Blackstone? And it's kind of, the regimental standard is that tongue-in-cheek kind of blog that all guardsmen are supposed to read. So it always has all these crazy disclaimers and stuff. And it's talking about how the Adeptus Mechanicus Explorator fleet has discovered a new material called Blackstone. And they hold that it holds the secret to keeping the Great Rift at bay. Blackstone is a naturally occurring material which appears to have warp dampening qualities. Right. And it says several deposits already exist on Imperial worlds, such as those formed on Cadia by the unusual geological presences on that world. Now, if you guys remember your fluff, the stuff that was on Cadia was actually Necron pylons, keeping the Eye of Terror from growing. So I wonder if they're doubling down and the Necrons will actually have some kind of way of stopping psychic powers, which would be really cool.
Well, yeah, currently the only thing they have is the Gloom Prism, but that's kind of hit or miss. But yeah, and then there is you obviously assume Blackstone Fortress, which were some of the talismans of Vol.
Mm-hmm.
And there was 6. 1 was crashed in Acadia, 2 were blown up in the Gothic sector, 3 are missing, I believe.
Yeah.
So question mark. Or maybe it's just an interesting coincidence because Games Workshop names everything all over again all the time. I don't know, but it's cool. There's some nifty little teasers in there for sure. I guess we'll know a little bit more about the story because if you look at the box set, it looks like there's a little rules pamphlet along with the fold out 8 pages of air quotes actual 8th edition rules. So either way, I think it's going to be a good buy. And if you think about it, it's, this is supposed to be the whole year of the Xenos. But you got to remember too, Games Workshop knows what sells, and Imperial sell. They do. They just do. It's proven. Every box set they've come out with over the years has always had a either Space Marine or some sort of Imperial component to it. And now this time, I feel like they're getting a little daring. They're going on a limb. They're still doing the Xenos, but they're throwing in AdMech this time, right? With the little incentive of the Knights. So I think it's cool because, at the end of the day, how many more Space Marine boxes do we need, right? So I wouldn't mind maybe in the future getting a Guard combo box. That would be neat. But I think their head's in the right place for this release. And will really start to gauge, interest in Knights and also Necrons.
Yeah, I believe GW is absolutely killing it with this one, guys. I love the fact that Necrons aren't out yet, but it's getting people hyped for the new models. And they're giving love to AdMech, which that's always will hold a special place in my heart. Putting both of them together, love it. When was the last time that they gave a combo box like this, Robbie B? That gives you two factions in one. It's like Battle for McCrag and Assault on Black Reach.
So those are actually bad comparisons because those were all the ETB push fits. I think the most recent ones that had two unique things that weren't available in it, along with the full sprues. And I actually just remember this one. So Death Mask was in there too. Remember, you could get the Deathwatch Artemis and Eldrad. Yep. So I skipped one actually. So there was Deathclaw or Stormclaw, I believe it was called, with Crom Dragon Greys and that Orc War Boss dude in summer of 14. Then we had, I want to say fall of 14 was Deathstorm with the Devastation of Baal, the Broodlord, and the Thunderhammer dude, Blood Angel duder, which eventually they all, came out. And then we had Death Mask. Then we had the most recent thing for Age of Sigmar was Blight War. You could get Mr. Snails and Lady Cast. So they're out there. This is just another one coming out. So maybe they're gonna start ramping that up. I don't know. It's a cool thing.
Yeah, I believe so.
And this box is practically the same faction anyway, since the AdMech worship a Necron, but fluff.
I see what you did there.
Yeah. Yes. The machine god is a Necron called the Dragon, lives on Mars. That is fact.
Fake
Bears
news.
beats Battlestar Galactica.
Fake news. So yeah, there's that. So like I said, it looks like the Baby Knights are going to be about $50 to $60, depending on how you take the clues from Games Workshop and apply a little hobby muscle math to that. It's a 400 level class at the local university. You have to check it out. Then that's all I got, really. What do you got on your horizon there, Haspil?
A couple of things that dropped. Well, maybe they didn't drop right away, but it was just stuff that I became aware of. One of them is a Necromunda Underhive computer game, which is really interesting because I didn't think that they were going to release that since, we just got the board game released, and they're still putting stuff out. We just got the rules for Genestealer Cult and White Dwarf. Clan Orlok just came out. They still have like 5 or 6 different clans, depending on if you count scavies and stuff like that as a separate gang to come out on the tabletop. And yet we just got an announcement with a trailer. If you guys haven't seen it, it's pretty decent, and it's made by the same company that made the Mordheim computer game. So that's pretty cool.
It might actually be good.
Yeah. So I'm looking forward to it. It's got me excited for that. So that's really neat. I think we covered the other stuff I was going to talk about real quick. We had the over for the folks in the UK, we had the Crusade subscriptions. They started to unveil that for Space Marine subscription like boxes.
Oh, yeah.
It's kind of like a loot crate, only you get like Space Marine stuff in it. But that's
every week for a month. I think it's like £2 or £2 a week or something. I don't know.
I don't know. It's only available in the UK.
Yeah.
And then we got if I'm transitioning over to Shadespire real quick, we got a judge's ruling. So it's not really an FAQ. It's more like a judge's ruling for the Adepticon Grand Clash. And there's a couple of rulings in here made me kind of raise my eyebrows that were like, ooh, this is gonna make things interesting. And among the biggest one is a card called Earthquake. If you don't play Shadespire, what Earthquake does is, imagine if you were playing 40K and you've got all your guys within the objectives, and I play Earthquake, and that means your guys move immediately off the objective. I shift everything on the map over by like 6 inches if we were talking about 40K. So it would be, imagine that was a 3 CP stratagem that I could just move every unit on the board over by 6 inches. It could be dramatically game changing. So the card was already an auto include in most Shadespire decks, especially against, now that dwarves are in the meta, dwarves inspire by sitting on objectives. So you want to shift those guys off. Earthquake moves everybody, so it shoves them off. However, in the Adepticon ruling of Earthquake, and I don't know if it's going to stand or not, they say that you choose a direction, then you choose a fighter and move them in that direction, and then you do it. So you move fighters in sequence, which means that if you have 2 fighters that are adjacent to one another and you try to move one first, well, he can't move because he's going to run into the other fighter. So he doesn't move. He just stays where he is. And then you move the other fighter. So that changes, to me, I think that changes the intent of the card, where we'd been playing it like everything moves simultaneously. If it doesn't move simultaneously, it becomes way more powerful than it is, and also extremely highly strategic. And why it's causing a little consternation with the Adepticon thing is that at the Grand Clash in the UK, it was ruled the other way, that everything happens simultaneously. And I think that is the way it was played on the stream, but I did not see the stream, so I cannot comment firsthand on that. And I'll use that to, there's a bunch of other stuff there. So if you're playing Shadespire at Adepticon, you're definitely going to want to look at this document. It does clear up some things, but it changes the way, I guess, the communal wisdom was saying that stuff would be played, at least in my local meta. So you definitely want to look at it before heading to Adepticon, or you're going to get got. Like if you don't realize the way they're ruling certain things. So give that a look. See, it is on the Adepticon website. And if you were signed up for the Grand Clash, I believe they sent out an email and you got an email link to it.
Is it under resources on the new Adepticon site?
I don't know. I got the link from an email that they sent to me, and I just clicked on it. But I suspect if you dig around there, it should be under resources for Shadespire.
If I just send you an email with the link, will you click on it?
Sure.
Okay.
I trust my virus scanner.
Excellent.
I'll be like, no. Ransomware.
I actually just thought of something else we needed to talk about. Tabletop Market Watch. In Infinity news, looks like the Eugene faction has been split. Now we're gonna get a separate Japanese sectorial army, JSA for short, with lots of bundles that are currently up on Corvus Belli's website, and some of them will be available at Adepticon, but like 2 weeks earlier or something, I think it is. So that's kind of neat to see. I don't know a whole lot about Infinity, but Jack of Clubs Painting does, and he made a pretty good article about it that I think we posted up today. I want to say it was today. It might be tomorrow. Sometimes I'm living in the future when it comes to the site, but yeah. So Infinity fans, lots to talk about here shortly.
Man, Infinity, some sick models. That game is, well, we were talking about algebra before. I cannot play that game.
Yeah, it's kind of crazy.
The game is too difficult for me. But I mean, I like the idea of how it plays. I love the models. But yeah, I heard about some of this week. A lot of people were playing Infinity on Twitch. In case you guys didn't know, there's a lot of people who do creative streaming on Twitch, including, not limited to, miniatures. I would say miniatures is probably one of the fastest growing, one of the bigger creative communities in general. So if you're curious, stop by Twitch, learn more. Are we ready to take a commercial break and then jump into these Tau? Have we covered all this other stuff?
I was going to cover the winning Skaven deck real quick. I'm not going to go over every single card.
Winning Skaven deck. I thought we said Skaven wasn't going to win anything.
No, I never said that.
No, you said the opposite. You said Skaven was going to win everything.
I thought it was going to dominate Shadespire, but
cover that deck for me real quick.
They definitely changed the meta, and the winning deck was from Jay Clare. He won the Grand Clash in the UK, and it is extremely objective heavy deck. And when I say that, his objectives, I mean, everybody gets 12 objectives at Shadespire, but he has all the hold objective cards in there, 1 through 5. He has Denial, which is an interesting card for him, but I feel like with Skaven, it's easy to get. And then he also has Making a Statement, which is, if I remember right, holding all your opponent's objectives.
Yeah.
Which, again, Skaven can do very well. He has Ploy Master. Skavens are going to be playing a ton of ploys. He has Supremacy, that's hold any 3 objectives. They can do that. So he is just racking up glory on objectives, just insane. And Skaven move 5, so they're extremely mobile. He can get wherever he wants. Yeah, he can get wherever he wants, and if they die, he can spawn on any starting hex. So he can just go anywhere. And then, of course, he's got in his power deck, he's got everything to help him support that. He's got all 4 keys: the Blazing Key, the Dazzling Key, Shadow Key, and the Fractured Key. For those that don't know, that means if you're standing on an objective that matches the number of the key that you have, you get 2 additional glory.
Bonus.
Yeah, so he's holding all that stuff. He has Sidestep in case people move him off. He has Misdirection. He has Earthquake, which is auto-include. I mean, I think Earthquake is more auto-include than Healing Potion at this point. It is pretty awesome. A very, very cool deck. I don't know that I personally would play it because I like to mix things up a bit more, but I can't. I mean, this is just so solid as far as he could just, as soon as he starts to run away with glory, you're not going to stop him. It's just gonna steamroll, and it is absolutely crazy. And he has other cards in there, like Determined Defender and stuff like that for holding object. I mean, it's a really, really well-crafted deck. My orcs would lose to this really, really easily. I'm ashamed to say.
Yeah, the dwarves would just have to hunker down on their side for sure. You're not going to chase them.
No. Yeah, dwarves are not going to catch them. Sepulchral Guard are not going to catch them. Chaos maybe stands a chance.
I mean, I have this awesome visual in my mind of like these rats just running around crazy, like in the shadows, darting in and out. You're just like, whoa, what the fuck are we going to do against this?
Yeah. Yeah, it's just
Skaven running around all like Yoda in episode 2, kick flipping and stuff.
Yeah, all secret in them in your business, and yeah, done.
I love it. Dude, what if somebody plays an Earthquake and then you have an Earthquake and you Earthquake their Earthquake? And during the power phase, you're like, nah, we're just back to where we were. How about that?
Yeah, that happens quite a bit.
You just flipped the table over.
That happens quite a bit. But that's why I have like No Time and Forceful Denial in my deck. So that if I'm standing on objectives and it's the last activation, the very last thing or first thing I want to do is play No Time. And then no one can play any more power cards. It goes into the end phase. I can score, inspire all my dwarves. Or Forceful Denial. Somebody tries to play Earthquake in the reaction phase, you play Forceful Denial, you have a 50-50 chance of canceling their ploy if you don't have an Earthquake in your hand. Otherwise, yeah, I think the Earthquake card right now so far, I think it's the only one that's very, like, almost too powerful. And with the way Adepticon ruled it, it's OP. Like the way it was ruled earlier, it's really, really powerful, but it's not broken. With the way Adepticon ruled it, it's borderline broken. So I don't know how long. I don't know if they're actually just testing it, because to my knowledge, the guys who are running it at Adepticon, I don't know this for a fact, but the guys that are running it at Adepticon are the GW guys. So they could potentially be the same folks that ran it at the Grand Clash in the UK. So that's why I'm a little bit, I don't have all the information, but I'm a little bit interested in going, okay, well, they ruled it one way in the UK, ruled it a different way at the Adepticon. Could they be testing it, to see like, hey, which way is more or less broken or whatever. And also, we don't know what the last two factions hold. They could hold a hard counter to Earthquake, because there were there were cards like contained that were very, very solid. And then Skaven and Dwarves came out and you're just like, well, I'm not putting that in my deck ever again. So it's like, so it is interesting. So we could just see, I'm excited for it. I'm very curious to see what new stuff. Not excited for facing this deck at Adepticon, which we will do now. So it will be there. So I'm like, ooh, I got to come up with a counter to this one.
Skaven OP, please nerf.
I'm just gonna play that Skaven deck. I mean,
Do it.
No, I think a lot of people are going to play that Skaven deck. That's the thing.
Yo, right now up on eBay, there's a Skaven Warband in some distinctive purple and green color schemes that you may have seen
Shadespire?
before. Yeah,
Comes with a deck.
comes with a deck. Yeah.
The winning deck.
Nah, you're gonna need to buy. You're gonna need the starter.
GW just do what Magic does and just fucking pre-manufacture winning decks from your Grand Clash winners.
Pre-con decks.
We'll buy that shit, especially if they have like cool ass graphics and shit.
Alternate art.
That's not a bad idea, Kenny, especially if they release the cards with alternate art.
Mm-hmm.
That's not a bad idea at all.
Yep.
Like maybe once a year come out with, the greatest hits or something.
Yeah, I'm just saying, GW, that one, I'll give you all these for free. Like, I talk a lot of shit about you, but I love you. Dedicated a solid portion of my adult life to you.
Facts.
I want to say, as I think about it, all of my adult life.
What is adulting?
I mean, like, yeah. I mean, I've been playing this game since I was 17, so. And I'm 22 now?
I think you're slightly older than me.
Yeah. Wish I was still 22. All right. Skaven clutchness. Let's do it. Commercial break. Come back. Rob Bear will lead us in a very adult discussion on the new Tau. Elric'sHobbies.com is your exclusive portal to upgrading your hobby. When you sign up at thelongwar.net, you gain an instant promotional discount good for 10% off at Elric's Hobbies. Elric'sHobbies.com.
Dear veterans, quickly, make your way to thelongwar.net and find out how to reap your hard-earned spoils of this long war. For our allies at secretweaponsminiatures.com have rewarded us all with an extra 10% discount on all Secret Weapon Miniatures merchandise. So stock up, dear veterans, and enjoy.
Veterans, I've got news for you. Get your best deals online at dicehead.com. Longwar Vets, call or email for your best vet deals. That's dicehead.com. And we're back. Robbie B.
Sir, they're called the Tau, not Tau. I need you to address them by the proper government name.
Nobody calls me by that name.
So there's been a lot of rumors about the Tau here recently, and it turns out that most of them might have been true because the 3 days worth of previews we've seen so far have been spot on. Now we don't know all the stratagems, but we do know some stratagems. They're pretty good. So I think we're going to do a quick rundown. We haven't done that in a while. So I'll call out the rules. Y'all give us a good, I don't know, what is it? A minute on the clock to say why you like it or don't like it. Haspil will probably just be like, I don't like it because it's Tau. That's acceptable.
Yep. That's standard answer.
Don't tell me, bro.
What is it? You just quote some Grey Knight shit and then move on. Isn't that your? You started just doing crazy movie quotes. Remember?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I don't know if I have that in me. I'm quite into this scotch right now.
You hit like 16 in a row without batting an eye that one time, bro.
Solid. I did wear my Adeptus Custodi shirt for you today. You didn't even say anything.
No, I want you to know I was eyeballing. I was what you call peeping your shirt when you got up earlier. I was like, damn, that's a fresh shirt.
My girlfriend hates it. She says it's, quote, hideous. Never heard her call anything hideous before.
Did she see the cat puking shirt? That's glorious.
No, but I see cats puking every morning. It's like a minefield.
Don't you have like a cat puking rainbow shirt that's like the most amazing shirt ever?
Oh, no, it's just like a bunch of cats in space.
The cats in space shirt's the best shirt.
That one's pretty good.
I love that shirt.
I got some shirts. I've been collecting them over the years since I was 22.
So for 3 or 4 years?
Yeah, like a couple of years. There's no way I'm 30. So first up, this is the stratagem that everybody seems to be talking about. So I'll let you guys run wild. Wait, no, this one. Run wild all over that honey with it. So it's a 3 command point. It's called Focus Fire. Use the stratagem after a top step unit from your army inflicts an unsaved wound on an enemy unit in the shooting phase. You can add 1 to wound rolls for any other top step units from your army that target the same enemy unit this phase. We'll start with Juice.
Yeah, I like it. That is pretty unbelievable considering that you're dealing with the to wound. Yeah, I can't speak enough about it. There's only a couple things in the game that allow you to manipulate that roll, right? So any lieutenant standing next to you, me standing next to Kenny is going to give Kenny a +1 to hit. But like I'm not going to be able to manipulate his dice rolls onto wound. So no, this is very, very strong. Everybody's going to take a commander. Everybody's going to have a unit of suits. This is a free good to go.
All right, Haspil.
Yeah, say goodbye to knights, say goodbye to bikes, say goodbye to a lot. I feel like this is a hard counter to any Custodes army. They'll never reach you.
Go ahead.
Obviously, that's the trend. So first, I want to address the gentleman's first point. Juice, I give you rerolls. All right.
True story. Sorry.
You know how this works.
Yeah.
And but no. So this is very Cadian, right? Like wound something, then the whole army targeting that shit gets +1 to wound, right? That's huge, right? So we've seen similar stuff. The thing that I like about this rule is the narrative behind it. It's very similar to some of the formations we got toward the end of 7th edition. It's very Tau. So I like A+ on the thematics behind this rule. And like to kind of echo Juice a little bit and maybe dive a little bit further, Tau have a million ways to manipulate the hit roll, right? So they're already getting that first pull of dice. They're already doing a lot of things to get that conversion rate high, right? Now, that's good math. When you can get that first volley of the conversion to hit high, that increases the wound math, right? And then when you have something that's reroll 1s to wound, that's okay. Most of the time you're wounding on 3s, 4s, whatever. This is +1 to wound. It's a game changer, right? So when you're saying there's something that has to die, and let me just throw a random fucking thing at it, wound it, immediately enact this shit, you can just lead with your bullshit units, right? They have a bunch of bullshit units that are like strength, strength 5, good AP, good damage, right? You might just take a fucking knight out with some bullshit, and then once you've done all that layer of firing, now your good shit is free to just kill the rest of his shit. And +1 to wound manipulation is amazing because they have, sniper drones, right? That's mortal wounds on a 5-up. There's a lot of bullshit units that can take advantage of this. I think this is not only is it powerful, but it's also thematic.
Yeah, Kenny, I liked your explanation earlier. Sorry, I know we're going to go like a round robin, but like I feel like we need to make sure everybody understands how big this is. Like +1 to wound, like it's probably the most underused thing in the Blood Angels, like that whole Blood Angels concept of, even their scouts have +1 to wound or anything else. Like, all right, ignore that the blanket statement says +1 to wound. Just imagine your bolters are now strength 7. That's the equivalent when you're shooting at a vehicle. Your bolter strength 4, you're shooting at something that is toughness up until toughness 8. You need 5s to wound. you're now saying to yourself, my bolter is now strength 6. If I'm shooting a 10 to 6, my bolter is now strength 7. Like, would you just not auto take strength 7 bolters? It's very powerful.
Yep. I agree. Now, staying with the whole wound mechanic, let's talk about this. And I want to preface this stratagem with the fact that commanders in match play are restricted to 1 per detachment. I mean, you can still have multiples in theory if you take multiple tile detachments, but just keep that in mind. The command and control mode, of course, named after the piece of war gear that the buff commander possessed many years ago. This stratagem is 1 command point. This stratagem at the start of your shooting phase. Pick a sept commander from your army. That commander may not shoot this phase, but 1 sept battlesuit unit from your army that is within 6 of that commander may reroll failed wound rolls this phase. Juice, what do you think?
I just realized I Robbie beat myself. So,
That means muted for all those out there.
Yeah, for anybody who doesn't know, that's where you shotgun a beer if you're playing the Long War drinking game, because when somebody Robbie beats themselves, that's what you got to do. No, this is great, right? So being able to, again, manipulate rolls. Everybody's going to have a broadside unit. Everybody's going to have a crisis suit team. Not making your commander do something. It is, I'm with it. I like the fact that anybody who's had the buff commander is still saying to themselves, oh, my army didn't get completely nerfed because my entire concept was revolved around this dude. Like, this dude is still a facilitator. He's still doing things. And for 1 command point, like, it sounds 2 for 2, if I'm not mistaken. How, please, somebody name me a book that has come out where we've gotten hyped over 2 stratagems that are only 1 command point each. Like, everything's always like, oh, I want a stupid dive, from the Custodes. That's 3 command points.
Yeah.
Oh, I need +1 invulnerable. That's 2 command points. For the demon book, I need to shoot a unit twice. I need to do double damage. That's all. Literally everything is 2 command points. We are just at the tip of the iceberg with this Tau to Ow, and we're hyped on 2 single stratagem command point, or 2 single command point stratagems.
Juice, that other one's 3 CP.
Yeah, that one's 3.
Oh, I feel so much better about my life right now.
Oh yeah. Okay, so the one that we just talked about where you add +1 to wound is 3, not 1.
Yes.
That is. I feel. Thank you, Haspil. I wasn't the only one. I was like, oh my dear Jesus. Like, yes. Thank you. 3
I was
command
just letting
points.
the Grey Knight salt wash over me. But now that it's 3, I feel better.
3 is well worth it. It is deserving. There's only a few things in the game that are 3. I like it.
All right, Haspil, what do you think?
Yeah, I think it's a good thing. I mean, it's fairly straightforward, and what I do like about it is if you had built your army around the buff commander, it's not just gone. It's there. It's still there.
And last but not least,
I've got to my brain's going 50 places at once. You know how my brain works, right? It's a little slow. I'm glad you're giving me last position. So first off, I like it. The first reason I like it is tactical flexibility. And I'll go into that one second, right? So it's straightforward. I sacrifice my shooting. Another unit of suits, which I imagine commanders are also suits, gets to do this cool reroll wounds thing. Okay, I like that. It's tactically flexible. We've caveated this with you only get 1 commander per detachment. So you're getting 3 max. I think that's not really a balancing issue. I think that's more of a stop fucking spamming commanders, because that's not what Tau are about. So here's what I'm looking at. I'm looking at a triple battalion Tau army. It's pretty easy to do. And you have 3 commanders. The tactical flexibility is huge, right? So now commanders are very powerful. So sacrificing the shooting in a commander is not really that good. So this ability is tactically flexible. It's not like I'm going to play, if I was a top player, I could see myself playing plenty of games where I never fucking use it. right? You got to sacrifice a Tau commander who's one of your fucking hardest hitting dudes sometimes. But it makes sense why you're going to have 3 battalions. You're probably going to have 12 command points. A lot of things can deep strike for no command points and infiltrate. Like Tau have a lot of abilities that other people have to pay for. So they're going to have a lot of these command points piling up. Here's one of my favorite situations I've outlined in my brain for this. You're in a situation where you need to get something done. You have maybe a fusion commander, 2 fusion commanders, and a missile commander. And you're like, fuck, these fusion commanders are not great for this matchup. Let me just sit back. Let me hang back with these guys, sacrifice one of their shooting, and make my missile commander wreck a fucking unit, right? Or the reverse, right? Or use this 1 command point to guarantee you get the wound through on some tough shit that might be -2 to hit, 5 up funeral pains on top of 5 up invulnerables. Like, you're just like, yo, this missile guy, he's going to get the wound through that I need. Boom. Wound done. 3 command points. Whole army rerolls. It has +1 wound. You know what I'm saying? Like, so the flexibility with this ability to use it situationally, you know, to make the decisions when you see what your opponent brought, and then to combo it off the only other stratagem we have rules for. That's what I like about this. I think it's pretty basic stratagem, but when you take it, you know, taking all the sum of its parts, you know what I mean? It's pretty serious.
Yeah, no doubt. So this next one is kind of a threefer, because there's actually a lot going on with it that I think we kind of need to cover before we comment on it. So real quick, Riptides used to be Buster in the index, now a lot better. We'll just go to run down the main points real quick. So heavy burst cannons going from a heavy 8 to a heavy 12. All the strength 6, -1, now it does 2 damage. So that's kind of cool, little double buff right there. For the ion accelerator, it went up to strength 8 with D3 damage, still at a -3 AP. The overcharge is now strength 9, so up 1 strength, still -3 AP. However, the damage is guaranteed 3 spot right there. So that's what's up. The Nova reactor rules are as follows. You can choose one and you just suffer a mortal wound. Boom. One of the following. Model has a 3-up invulnerable. Model can move 2d6 in your charge phase, even if it doesn't declare a charge. So you can bounce forward, bounce back, whatever. And the Nova charge, which will get you up to a heavy 18. Or it's, hold on a sec. What am I? Change to heavy 18, or it's ion accelerator.
Did you just say a heavy 18?
No,
Yes.
like, do you,
Or heavy 6.
It's so frustrating. Like, so let me just tell you what you just said. I'm sorry for everybody at home. Robbie B.
Yeah, I was like, am I reading that right? I feel like I did not. And yep, I read that right.
So I'm gonna run. So these guys also took a point decrease. The burst tide, which is gonna be the number 1 go-to. The ion tide I don't even care about. Burst tide all day. 44 points cheaper. So I believe this guy's going to be under 300 points, if I'm not mistaken. So if he's like 250, 260, so I'm running 3 of them. That means you're going to be like 780 points, right?
Mm-hmm.
Word. Every turn, because these cats have like 12 wounds, 13 wounds. Like for the first 3 turns, guaranteed, probably for the first 5 turns of the game, I am going to go, give me my mortal wound all day. Give it to me. I want a 3-up invulnerable, and I'm shooting 18 shots that are -2 rend. Isn't that what you said? And 2 damage?
Mm-hmm. -2 rend, 2 damage. Yep.
Are you kidding me?
But wait.
18 shots?
But wait.
So
I didn't get
again,
to the best part.
Oh, please continue.
There is a command point stratagem for 1 command point. Use the stratagem when you choose a Riptide Battlesuit Nova Reactor. You may choose 2 effects from those listed rather than 1. So your 1 mortal wound gets you 2 from that list.
Yeah. That's unbelievable. That's unbelievable.
Everybody go buy Riptides right now because they're soon to be sold out.
So look, so this is what I love about Tau. You know for a fact there's also going to be a stratagem that says for 2 command points you can shoot a unit twice, right?
Yo, you just plucked that shit out of my head, bro. I was like,
literally, so
God, 32 shots.
This one dude with a 3-up invulnerable is going to be shooting 32 shots a turn. 1 cat. Unreal. Unreal, homie. This is going to be game changing. I've been saying it amongst our groups, our competitive talks, our text chains. Tau is going to be as powerful as they came onto the scene in 6th edition, and motherfuckers had to come up with 2-up rerollable to
that was the
play against them.
catalyst. One other thing I think we should talk, and I feel like Kenny echoes these sentiments. How do you feel, Haspil?
Tower Xenos, and therefore an abomination. Especially if they can put in that many shots. I'm just like, okay, so to put it in perspective, the only army I play that stands a chance is Necrons. Like every other army will just get blown off the table by 3 of these things. That's not even your whole Tau army. That's just those 3 units.
The three things we've discussed applied appropriately to the appropriate models.
I'm tabled after 2 shooting phases.
Like,
Don't tell me, bro. Don't tell me.
Yeah, exactly. I am not excited about that.
So I'm gonna be kind of salty, right? And I'm like, I am so pumped for Tau, and I don't play them. I've never owned them. I've owned Eldar. I've owned, my young career I owned Eldar. I've owned Warcon. I bought into Aldar. I've never bought into Tau. It ain't my thing, fine. But I do like it when armies are good. So I am with it. I want them to be good, but I will be salty as shit if invulnerable saves are thrown out to this army more than just the Riptides. Okay, I don't want to see that shit. Also, there better not be no mortal wound trick that this army can put out 18 mortal wounds a turn. They cannot have it all. I will be frustrated if they can do the firepower.
Well, Juice, the good thing is we're getting rapid fire FAQs. So I'm confident that Denizens of the Warp got fixed before it even happened, remember?
Sure. But we're talking like that. That's like one concept. Like I will be frustrated if there's if sniper drones, any sniper weapon, fine, they can do mortal wounds. But I don't want to see, I don't know, some devilfish thing where if they turbo boost,
I think the Skyray is going to be a problem.
I don't want ghost kills. I don't want ghost kills to have something. I don't want stealth suits to be able to have a weapon that does mortal wounds. Like your army can't, in my opinion, I don't want to see that you can do everything, right?
Skyway, yeah. I mean, there's going to be some issues. Skyrays are coming down in points, and they're going to be able to manipulate.
And I think the missiles got better on them too.
Oh, missiles are the rumor is strength 8, neg 2, D6 damage.
Yeah, Skyray is going to be an issue.
Mini
D6 is a problem considering most missiles that are -2 are D3 wounds.
Yeah.
That may get nerfed. But full disclosure here, Riptides points were rumored to be coming down 24, the heavy burst cannon down 20, and the ion accelerator down 42.
Yeah, Juice said it. It's all burst tide. Yep. Let me hit.
Yeah, it's probably all burst.
Let me hit this. Let me hit my thoughts, which I'm kind of a summary of all the 3 things. So Juice hit me with it before I could say it. There's going to be a double shoot stratagem. Okay, everything we just talked about gets worse with a double shoot stratagem, and so obviously you're talking 2 points double shoot, 1 point double Nova reactor, 1 point to make a suit. What is the +1 to wound? So this burst tide is a suit, right? Or Riptides are suits, right?
Oh.
Yeah. No.
Yeah.
I don't know if that's going to be. Traditionally, I think they were just I don't want to say.
Don't they have? I mean, no. Right now, drones count them as battle suits, right? Isn't that a thing?
No, I think the battle suit. I don't know. Maybe that's something else. So
someone who plays Tau in this chat, tell me right now.
Yeah, there's the XV88 armor, and then there's the
technically it's all battle suit armor, yes.
I feel like it probably has, if there's a battle suit keyword, I think it has it. But if it,
I hope something like that will get FAQ to the right way, like Denizens in the Warp.
So let me just go with fine. Let me just assume it doesn't. Okay, it doesn't. Fine. It shoots 32 times. It's gonna have some kind of marker light reroll 1 situation happening.
It does have keyword battle suit.
Yeah, it does. That's what I fucking thought. So it's going to shoot you 32 times. It's going to be hitting on 4s. It's probably going to be re-rolling 1s. There might be some other buff I'm not aware of there. It's going to shoot twice because there's going to be a fucking command point. So you're going to play 1 CP, 2 CP. For 4 CP, this single motherfucking model is going to fucking kill practically anything. 64 shots, some type of hit manipulation, +1 to wound manipulation. This one fucking guy.
Yeah.
And it's not going to be hard to triple battalion this shit, man. I'm telling you, there's going to be 12 command points. And he's going to have a 3-up invulnerable. So, like, the whole time he's shooting twice with 32 shots, aka 64 shots, he's got a 3-up fucking invulnerable. Like, this is going to be what we're talking about. This guy is going to fuck your day up. Shit in your cereal.
The only silver lining here is that currently they hit on 4s. So...
Yeah, that whole concept, like hitting on 4s, doesn't mean shit to me because, again, you know that there's going to be somebody who re-rolls to hit. You know that there's going to be.
I mean, one marker light hit is one marker light hits reroll 1s right out the gate. Like, just like with no effort, it's reroll 1s.
Yeah, and I think that still stayed the same, but I don't think there's any other manipulation, judging by the statements that we've seen from the people that seem to be in the know. So that may be a silver lining. Like I said, I'm not sure.
Yeah, I mean, 64 shots. Worst case scenario, 64 shots, hit on 4, reroll 1, wound on 2s.
Wow,
that's what you. That's what you. That's what. I mean, it's gonna. I mean, it literally.
That's still a squad ender.
That's all 40 cultists. One thing removes all 40 cultists. One thing removes all your fucking. You know what I mean? Like 2 of your biggest units, 2 of your biggest threats.
Yeah, because he shoots when he Nova charges, he goes to 18 shots. So it stays at 32, right? It goes 18, goes to 30.
Oh, it's at 18. So it's 32 because he shoots twice. Yeah. So he's gonna be. Yeah. So it's gonna be 32. So
it's 36 shots.
Or 36 shots. So it's gonna be like 36 shots. This guy. But the fact that
this guy's unbelievable.
But the fact that he's gonna be a fucking 3-up invulnerable the whole time.
3-up invulnerable, like the mortal, like the 3-up invulnerable is reserved. This is the one thing that I will love about 8th edition. Is that in the editions previous, everybody's invulnerable. Everybody's this. Everybody has gotten to shoot whoever shot 20 shots before in 8th edition shoots 40 shots. Every unit, is just mass. Everybody's fucking dying everywhere. In 8th edition, shit just dies. It does not stay alive. We are so hyped to a shield captain with a 3-up invulnerable.
You know, and Jews, check this out too. Like, this is the fluff that I'm talking about, right? So we had that Riptide wing list, right? The formation that was like all the Riptides can shoot again or in that formation. Remember that once per game?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
We had the formation that was once you enacted it, the whole army shoots as its one unit, thus all benefiting from all the built-in mechanics. Mm-hmm. This is like all these stratagems and all this shit we're talking about is basically the stratagem version of the last few formations we got in 7th edition.
Yeah. True.
It's very cool.
So that leaves the door open to what are they going to do to like the fire-based cadres? That whole concept.
Oh, I've already heard that. What are they called? What are the little breacher dudes?
Breachers, yeah, they got a stratagem too.
I already heard that. I heard these dudes are like fucking got some gangster ass fucking AP manipulation and all sorts of crazy shit.
Yeah, so like Tau has put out like a couple 3 builds here lately where it's like the drone spam, commander spam, and then fire-based cadres, right? Where you're talking like my list starts at 120 fire warriors. So, I mean, I truly believe that, and it's going to hurt my guts. It's going to hurt my inside. I believe Tau is going to have a build that puts them at 120 plus models that can do some 300 plus shots, at strength 5 or so. And they're going to be able to shoot you with a shit ton of either marker lights or sniper drones or some form of like.
It's going to be like 300 wounds. Shots that are going to benefit from the 3 command point, the whole shooting on my target rule. There's going to be some clutch little commander hiding behind them. That's a missile dude. That's going to be re-rolling wounds. And there's going to be a fucking 2 burst tides.
Burst sites, literally, like that could almost be day 1 when the book drops.
Yeah, that's like day 1.
That's the list.
Day 1
and
list.
everybody already owns that shit.
Yeah.
There's not a Tau player in the world that doesn't have 80 fire warriors, like umpteen million drones, and riptides.
And at the end of the day, I'm stoked on this list because I'm looking, like you said, I'm stoked when someone gets some good shit. I'm also stoked for meta shift. That's always what I'm stoked for.
Correct.
I'm stoked for
with
an
it.
army to come out that makes everybody have to change their army. That is the best way to play this game. To constantly have to think when you're playing at that competitive level, at least when you're playing at that, like, I'm going to go to this event with this format, this event with this format. My favorite, most exhilarating, most exciting way to play is constant meta shift. What's going to be there? Who do I have to beat? Oh, do I even have to beat them because Tau exists now and no one's going to play that list anymore because they're worried about Tau? So all that, you know what I mean? Like, it's going to be like, it changes the fucking game. I love that.
Yep, without a doubt. I think that's the major stuff, and that's what we're talking about at this point. I'm sure we'll have more next week, of course. There's already a couple of things I'm kind of tracking.
Look, hey, can I cut you off real quick? Somebody just mentioned in the chat, Timothy said, yeah, what about the armies of -1s to hit? I'm so glad he mentioned that. I have this theory that I came up with one of my back alley fucking Facebook chats. I think there's a war on -1 to hit right now. I think over time, GW is going to start pulling them out. Right out the gate, I don't think Tal's going to get one for themselves, right? So I think that's already a thing, right?
Yeah, I hope they don't. The only thing that I could think of that would be like some form of an ethereal.
Pretty much,
but like that's never been their joint.
Everyone is pretty much sure they're not. They took away -1 to hit from the changeling, so they already removed a -1 to hit. That because that -1 to hit extended to things like tanks. There's talk that the Alatok is going to get their shit changed because their shit is -1 to hit everything, right? Not just infantry.
Huge problem.
I believe in the next few FAQs and in the rest of this season that we're in right now, season 2 or whatever, season 1, I call it season 1, whatever season we're in right now. I believe the war on -1 to hits has begun, and I believe they're going away.
Well, that would make more sense because, it's one of those things that takes away. First of all, people don't do the math right, the dice rolls right a lot of the time, and you have to remind them and you have to explain it.
Oh, let me cut you off one last time. All of this talk, we forgot to talk about the Yavari. The Yavari keyword battlesuit, I believe.
Oh, I don't have the.
Everyone knows that's a bullshit ass fucking Forge role model, and so let me just say everything we just said. Yavari, it's going to be Yavari and a burst tide. That's what we're talking about.
Yeah, I think that thing's stupid good.
That's what the situation is.
It was slinging hot plasma before. Now it's just like.
Yeah, I can't wait to see what his what's going to happen when he overcharges. Like what his stat line is going to go to.
Superior meltdown.
I will say this: anybody who has a fucking Nova reactor strapped to their back better be exploding on like a 4, 5, or 6, and it better be doing like 2d6 worth of damage, okay, or like a flat 3 or something.
Rob,
they sync up, explode like the old Mama Bug used to do.
Can we talk about? We talk about how they how the rumors are talking about drones? Because right now, one of the things, one of my favorite things about Tau is drones. So please,
continue. Okay, let me pull it up. I wasn't sure if we wanted to keep going or not. So, this is probably how it's going to be. So it's going to work very similar to the bodyguard mechanic, like that the Death Shroud has, where incoming fire can be intercepted by them on a 2-up. So the rolls of 1s are going to get through drones. They're going to get to the commanders. Another thing to mention is that this is, of course, savior protocols, that characters cannot negate shots at other commanders. So if you're bouncing around with a bunch of Tau character suits, you're still going to be able to choose your shots once you get rid of the drones themselves. But that's the key, is getting rid of the drones, because now they can, they'll prevent the shots going there. Now, points wise, it looks like gun drones are going to go up 4 points. Shield drones are going to go up 2 points. So a little bit more for a little bit less. But again, savior protocols is pretty good. It'll save those juicy commanders that now you can only take 1 per detachment. Not that might be super restrictive, but we'll see. What are you guys' thoughts?
I play a lot of Tau in my area. That's pretty popular, and that is the name of the game: drones commanders.
Mm-hmm.
And as annoying as it is sometimes, I like it because it's a cool game break that Tau has, right? But with all these new strategies and all these new cool ways to play, I understand exactly why GW is pulling back the commanders, changing the points on drones, changing the wording on savior protocols, because they want you to play Tau the real way, right? So to me, it's clear with all this evidence. Like now, it's like Lookout Sir. You roll a 1, the motherfucker's taking the hits. It's just like Lookout Sir. It's no different, right? And we've been dealing with that forever, right? And one commander per detachment. Basically, they have killed the commander drone spam. That is not a way to play anymore. Like, they're showing you the new way to play. You play with your toys. You play with some burst tides. You play with some crisis suits. You play with some fire warriors, because they are going to be way better. You build the right army with the right command pool, stratagems. That is the heater. Way more effective than this drone spam drop commander shit. End of statement.
Yep. Yep. That's pretty much where Tau's at right now. One of the major builds. So, I don't know. We'll see. The book isn't here. There's a lot of Tau players crying online right now that, they're getting worse and all this stuff. But I think we've laid out some pretty solid examples how there's still
that doesn't sound worse.
No,
yeah.
and I love that. It's like, please complain. Your stuff's going to get worse, whatever else. Like, everybody has an opinion. We definitely lend to give everybody ours, because that's what you tune in for. If we think something is trash, luckily we're going to tell you. We aren't just going to take some half-ass positive stance on it, like, no, it should be good, let's find out and see. Like, no. You listen to us because you want to know our opinion on something. Or you're trolls and you actually don't care. Just you need a topic of conversation to be about. But I truly believe Tau is going to be the Moe's burrito homewrecker. For anybody who didn't get that, is going to be the homewrecker of 40K tournaments.
Burrito equals homewrecker.
It's dual meat. Well, there is a burrito at Moe's called the Homewrecker, which actually wrecked Juice the other day.
It wrecked his whole entire family unit.
Yo,
We'll call it, when Juice eats it, it's the whole wrecker.
The whole. Oh, I like what you did. I see that.
Yo, Juice, go with me on this, Juice. So, a lot of people online think they're like, oh, Tau got nerfed. They got nerfed. First off, Tau is getting their codex finally. Praise that.
Yes.
We
ahead of Dark Eldar, which, you should still be waiting for a while.
We have all been dealing with constant updates. Oh, I got the index. These are my units. Oh, there was an FAQ. Fuck. Oh, got a codex. Fuck. Oh, tight. Fuck. So at the end of the day, every codex came out was better than the index, but it was different than the index. So if you think it's a nerf, it's probably, and I urge you to look at it as objectively as possible, it's probably because you've been experiencing some degree of success with the build you've already built. You got really excited about 8th edition. You saw where the build was going. You got a shitload of drones painted up, built, a shitload of commanders painted up, built, and you've been experiencing some degree of success in your local scene, right? You're happy about that. What you're not happy about is all that effort you put into it is essentially been shit on. I feel you. I sympathize with you, right? But now it's time to move on and start to play this game real.
Yeah, that was literally everyone else until their book came out. So you actually, and we'll say you as in Tau, not really Dark Eldar because nobody really plays them, orcs, anything else that are going to be in the winds waiting on a book, like because you have an index, you are at a handicap. You only have 7 units. You play the shit out of those 7 units because there's no other stratagems to make anything else fucking good in your book. So you do spam. When 8th edition dropped, look at 8th edition last year at ATC last year. You only spammed shit. Yeah. That was it.
Did you guys? Sorry, I have to. Did you read Nick Navati?
I did.
You read his article about spam?
I did. Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah. I did. I believe that a lot of what was spoke about is what we touched on when 8th edition first dropped, and some people try to say, "Oh, spam isn't good." Like, first off, there's a reason why his article is like spam should stay in a can because it's too fucking good. It dumbs down the game. Some it does whatever. But if you're telling me that there's a rule set and the goal when you go to a tournament is to win, and all we have is indexes, do not, unless you say Highlander is your event, people are going to gravitate to what is powerful. If all you have is an index, spamming is the only way to play.
But he also breaks down that spamming is a pretty subjective term, because how many points of your army are you really devoting to a task? The only reason you spam anything is because you found something that's too good for its points and you want as much of it as possible. So essentially you're playing the game with a points, with more points than your opponent, right? That's basically spam. So when we had indexes, that was the only game plan we had. The only manipulation was try to play with more points than your opponent by spamming units that are undercosted that are pretty good. Now that we have tactical flexibility, like, with multiple units, with multiple keyword exploits, with multiple stratagem exploits, what he was saying in his article was that that's going to give you more success. You're going to still take a few units. Like he's like, I had 17 Dark Reapers, but that's a small percentage of my army. Like that was the most commonly used single type of unit, right? Because they're good. So I'm trying to get that little point increase over you. But I had a unit that does this thing, a unit that does this thing, 2 units that do this other thing. Then this unit does this thing sometimes, but then with a stratagem, it does this whole new thing. Like that's the way you play 40K win tournaments, and you can't fucking argue that, because Nick Navati is the best 40K player on paper right now, and that's how he plays. He's beating all these people who are he's like, in his article, he's like, how come 4 Fire Raptors and Gilliman doesn't win a tournament? Hasn't won a fucking national tournament? Because you are playing with this huge advantage. I've got 300 free points, and I shoot everything off the table. But what happens if you don't? No, I'll shoot everything on the table. But what if you don't? What if?
Well, terrain. Everybody got smart too. Terrain, you know what I mean? And again, it's just the evolution. Absolutely. And Eldar and that style of list is manipulates. It is spam. That is an absolute
It manipulates a unique mechanic that only they have, where they fucking can pass wounds, which is a break. You're looking for unique rule breaks. Every army has one. That's the reason you spam that, is because they only had that.
Yeah, so like I wouldn't even say that he's obviously, I mean, at 17 Dark Reapers, that's obviously not a spam, but at the same time, if those Dark Reapers are appropriately costed, then it potentially is spam, because it's probably going to make up 44% of your list, or 36% of your list. So, I mean, that is a substantial chunk out of 2,000 points. But with that aside, is like the spam concept is you are funneling where your opponent can shoot from your use of line of sight, block, and terrain and characters. So like you are spamming, force feeding your opponent, shooting at stuff that is either not being able to be seen and or is -2 to hit. Like that's the crux of a lot of that concept. So no, I mean, I thought it was a great article.
It was a great article, but I think his internet handles Nick Brown right now.
Yep.
We were talking shit about him on my live show yesterday, me and Sean Naden. I was like, hey man, remember back in the day when he used to post on the 40K Wrecking Crew forums as your mom when he was a kid? Probably lived with his mom. He was like, he still lives with his mom. I was like, I ain't judging. It's a different economy.
But yeah, so I mean, legit. it is 8th edition is a fecal creature right now. And I don't know if you guys picked up on that, but
you said fecal.
Fecal. A fecal creature right now. So you guys just got to know when you come to the tournament scene to like expect some shit, like one way or the other.
Damn, I'm sorry. I chuckled prematurely at that, because it was actually not funny. It was pretty fucking profound.
Yeah, thank you. Like 8th edition is not for the faint of heart. When you come to the tournament scene, when you've got this, like, there's a lot of people's podcasts out there talking about it and whatnot, but like your shit's gonna die. Be ready for it, and let's hit it with stride. Play the new units that come out. Buy the new this. Be the Mike Haspil that owns 3 of every unit there is. So when your stuff comes out, you can have it. Your chip will go off. You'll buy the new knights. Whatever else. But
also don't be afraid to follow like someone like Mike Haspil's path. Right? If something doesn't make you happy, don't do it. Right? So ultimately,
it's true.
Right? I mean, that's what you've told me so many fucking times, right? This doesn't make me happy.
Like it's a hobby. It's a hobby. So you're playing a hobby to have fun. And if you're not having fun, then change what you're doing.
Yeah. If surfing the meta constantly having to update your army, tweak it every little thing, paint new shit every fucking week, get in 3 back alley fucking Facebook group chats where you're constantly fucking yelling at each other trying to figure out how to win a fucking game. Like, if you're not willing to do that and that doesn't make you happy and that actually just creates anxiety and fucking stress for you, don't do it. Like, because there's a million things for you to do in this hobby that are not that, which is why I hope we bring some balance there. Like, you don't have to play that way. If you want to keep playing the way you play, that's fine. I have a way I get to play at my local scene here at Locals, and I have a totally different way I play when I go to Adepticon, when I go to LVO and shit.
Yeah, and that takes like years of self-control, years of understanding what the local scene is versus the tournament scene. Again, I get into it, and more recently is like there are more tryhards that show up to the friendly local game store to try to push people's shit in and claim that they're just there to have fun than anybody that you'll find who is down to pay the money to travel to a tournament. Like, what happens at the friendly local game store is completely different than, it should be your chill atmosphere, should be your whatever atmosphere, but the gotcha bitch moment should not be happening at your friendly local game store, unless everybody understands this is tournament prep, this is this. But now I do want to caveat to what Kenny was saying about like, and it's very true. If 40K isn't tickling your fancy, if Shadespire is of this, like, you need to do what makes you happy in the hobby. But conversely, don't trap yourself. Now, I'd like to shout. I know, Kenny, you've said it, Rob, myself, but Pablo at Chapter Tactics just spoke about it, and I think it's a great point. People need to realize this. Have this, light go off in your head sooner than later. Don't get stuck on a couple units. Like, I know they're your favorite. And I know that this unit makes you happy. But if it sucks, it sucks. Move on and have fun with do you love this game or do you love that model?
Juice, can I say something to you?
Yeah.
It finally happened. I moved on from my kindred spirit, the unit of all units that are in my heart.
Oh, the Mauler Fiend?
The Mauler Fiend. I can't play it anymore. I've gone through 3 editions with it. Okay? 3, 4, 2 in a list, 1 in a list, whatever, as many as you fucking can imagine. I'm like, okay, how about just 1 to supplement? How about let's spam them? Everything you can think of. I'm Kenny Boucher.
That's not it.
I'm Kenny Boucher, and I don't play with Mauler Fiends anymore.
I've quit you. Mauler.
I've quit
Fiends.
you.
But no,
this toxic codependent relationship is ended.
It's done. So like if this Tau book comes out and your damn marker lights or your devilfish or something that you always play, your 70 dudes in devilfish, was your jam and it sucks, it is perfectly acceptable to grab what the new thing is and play it. I have felt no more hypeness for the game. It's Kenny. It's what you said happened in, the transition from 5th to 6th. Or excuse me, 4th to 5th edition, I believe you said it was. And where instead of you just saying, this is the way I play and this is the army style that I play, you're like, I'm not going to just struggle through 6 months and get my ass kicked when I used to be winning. That's because this is the player that I am.
That's a story that I've told many times, right? And I just won't do it anymore. Like, I did it to myself once between 3rd and 4th. I was high to my success in 3rd edition. And I wasn't being honest with myself that 3rd edition was the easiest of all fucking editions, right? And so I got high, and I was like, I'm gonna keep playing this way. That I'm so good at this game. I don't need to change. And then I got my ass. I couldn't fucking win a tournament. I couldn't even go 2-1 for like a whole year, man. You know what I mean? Then finally, when I made the adjustments, embraced the edition, made the tactical, flexible choices, infused my army with new ideas, new fucking units, I started winning all these tournaments. And then I made a vow. I was like, that never happened again. Like, I play the game we're in. Every edition's different. This is the first new, really truly new edition. So I've kind of taken it as like a full cleansing, like a reset. Like, I look at everything with fresh eyes. Units I've never played before, man. You know what I mean? Like, saying like, what's a fucking, cultist? Man, I never spammed cultists before. You know what I mean? Obliterators? God, I haven't played Obliterators since fucking the 90s or some shit, man.
Since you hadn't played Obliterators since you could only ever have 1 unit in your army, unless you were the silver and gold guys.
Yeah, man. Yeah, the fucking Iron Warriors. You know what I'm saying? Like, so yeah.
Iron Warriors, there it is.
So I want to drop some stuff on you guys right now. So as a lifelong gamer, I've been playing role-playing games. I've been playing board games. I've been playing all that stuff since military school, 4th, 5th grade. You know what I mean? And there's a different meta that goes on. And the meta is not just, hey, Tau is on top or whatever. It is to play the maximum amount of games in a set of all games. That is the actual gamer meta. So it doesn't make sense and it's what you guys are talking around. That's why I kind of wanted to jump in. It doesn't make sense to do something that is going to abridge the number of possible games you could play. Like if you're playing an army that is not making you happy, you're going to play less games. Some people may drop out of the hobby because of it. They don't like a rule set. They may quit. So that's what we're trying to get at is don't quit. Don't drop out of the hobby. Find a different way to play that maximum set of all games. And when somebody comes into your group and they're like, oh, I'm just playing to have fun, but they're, being Daenerys Stormborn with dragons and crap and just laying waste to your local meta, that destroys that maximum set of all games for everybody. And you see it happen over and over again. Eventually, no one plays with that guy. I've seen people single-handedly at our local game store. We had a very robust conquest scene. If you remember, that was the Living Card Game by FFG for 40K. Mm-hmm. We had about 3 individuals that ran train on everybody because they had time to invest in that game. And that game died at our local game store. Nobody played it. And it died eventually across the board. So I kind of see it happening in not just like 40K, but across all games. I've seen it happen in War Machines, Warhammer Hordes. We had a big scene going on. Couple people come in, stomp the new guys out. Those guys don't play in a game anymore. It reduces your maximum possible set of games. So you don't want to do that. You want to always have the maximum set of games. Now, keep in mind, I didn't say you're going to win the greatest set of maximum set of games. I said play. So you may not always win, but if you're going to call yourself a gamer, then your goal is to play as many games as you possibly can and to make sure that the environment sustains that and transmission.
Community leadership on point. The legendary Mike Haspil laying it out and a note that I don't even believe we can come back from. I believe that's it.
All right. Well, speaking of gangster shit, take us out, Haspil.
It's Challenge Day. We have watched and listened from the mountains as your technological advancements have been watched over by a child who scoffs at tradition. And now you wish to hand this nation to this boy who wishes to be king, yet could not keep his own father safe. Ha! We will not have it. I say we will not have it all. Glory to Hanuman.